What's up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to another episode of Brett on Fett. On today's episode, I'll be giving my thoughts on some of the latest reveals from Hasbro at San Diego Comic-Con. Plus, I've got some random pickups to share, including the new Black Series Scout Trooper helmet. Let's get to it.
The time has come. Execute
Episode
66.
Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 66 of Brett on Fett, and this weekend is San Diego Comic-Con, and yesterday was July 21st, and Hasbro had their Star Wars panel with a number of reveals, including the much anticipated Vintage Collection HasLab. And I want to give my quick thoughts on a lot of the reveals for the Black Series, the Retro Collection, and of course the Vintage Collection, and there's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Alright, so we'll kick things off with the Black Series, and just before the Comic-Con began, Hasbro announced this 3-pack SDCC exclusive of Starkiller with 2 Stormtroopers. It is pretty cool, comes with a lot of effects, but is pretty pricey at $110.99 US. But it does come with some pretty cool accessories, so if you are a Starkiller fan, a Force Unleashed fan, you're probably going to want to pick this up. Next up, also just before the Comic-Con began, Hasbro revealed the new Pre-Vizsla for the Black Series. This is from his Season 5 look, I believe, and he looks pretty awesome. Great head sculpt, and I love the helmet and the paint apps on the chest plate. He just looks really cool, and of course he comes with that awesome looking darksaber. I think Black Series fans will be very happy with this figure. Next up, Hasbro announced their first few figures from the new Ahsoka series, starting with Ahsoka herself, and unfortunately they revealed that this is basically a straight repack from the Mandalorian Season 2 version of Ahsoka, so nothing exciting there. Next is General Herasyndulla, an all-new figure, and she does look pretty good, has a very good likeness to the actress, and does match the source material very well. And finally, from the Ahsoka series, for Black Series, they announced sabinewren, and she looks very good. Once again, a good likeness to the actress that plays her. I like the paint deco on this figure, and the helmet looks good, and it's appropriately sized. The Pipeline reveals were a bit of a mixed bag. You've got 3 Jedi Fallen Order figures, all reuse / repaints, I think, with Cal Kestis, the Second Sister, and the Purge Trooper. But then we got the long-awaited reveal of a super battle droid finally in the Black Series. I know Black Series fans have been waiting for this moment for a long time. And unfortunately, it sounds like they're putting him in a 2-pack with the B1 battle droid with C-3PO's head on it. And that's unfortunate because I'm just not a big fan of that figure. And I think a lot of people aren't too particularly fond of that any version of that figure. So I think it would have been better just to leave the super battle droid by himself. And they revealed another long-awaited figure for the Black Series, the Droideka. And I am excited about this one. I think this was the best reveal for the Black Series. I can't get enough droids, and I think with all the tiny details that are required to make a good Droideka, and I think Hasbro will do a great job utilizing the 6-inch scale for this figure. Next up is the Retro Collection, and Hasbro revealed another wave for Return of the Jedi, and it's a pretty good one. They picked some pretty good characters. We went with the Gamorrean Guard, Admiral Akbar, Yak Face, Wicket, Emperor's Royal Guard, and Mon Mothma. And Mon Mothma is the one I'm most excited about because I think Retro Collection is at its best when it puts out figures like this of original trilogy characters that we never got in the Vintage Kinder days. And initially I was only interested in Mon Mothma, but then I realized they were selling these figures together in another box set like they did with the original 12 waves. And I really like these boxes, even though I'm not going to keep the carded figures inside this box. I just really love this packaging so much. I had a lot of fun with that original 12. So I am very tempted on picking this up, even though I'm not a hardcore Retro Collection fan, but they just seem to do enough to draw me in every now and then, and I do like this. And finally, for Retro Collection, there was a pipeline reveal, and it was for a wave from the Phantom Menace. And I thought this was interesting because I have heard quite a few people actually requesting prequel trilogy Retro Collection figures and Phantom Menace Retro Collection figures. And, you know, personally, I really just don't have any interest in this. If I pick up a figure from this wave, maybe I'll pick up Darth Maul, depending on what he looks like. But I do think Hasbro did a pretty good job picking out the 6 characters to make for this wave. And I'm curious if Hasbro will just do one wave for each prequel trilogy movie, or if they will do multiple waves. My guess is they'll wait to see how this first wave sells before they make a decision moving forward. Alright, now it's time to get into the vintage collection reveals, and just before Comic-Con began, they did reveal this special SDCC exclusive Chrysanthemum. This is a pretty cool set. The packaging is very cool. It almost looks like something Black Series would normally do for a Comic-Con exclusive. But I think the contents are almost identical to what we're already getting in the regular mainline TVC and the deluxe packaging, with the exception of the head sculpt. He does come with a very cool, different head sculpt where he's sort of growling / screaming. And the other reveal we got just before Comic-Con began was a new Jabba the Hutt playset. Now this thing is awesome. I've been wanting a Jabba release for TVC other than the one that came with the barge. I do not have the barge. And this one is great. It looks great, and it's compatible with the big throne room set. If you ordered that from Pulse, you can swap it out. You can swap out the dais, and it's got all the cool accessories, and the 8D8 comes with it. That is an original 96 figure, and he will come carded. And the Salacious Crumb will come carded as well in a mini card. And no word yet if that's going to be identical to the Revenge of the Jedi special Death Star set that had the mini card or not. I'm hoping, for the sake of those people that have that item already, that it is a different mini card. We know at least it'll be different in that it'll show, say, Return of the Jedi instead of Revenge of the Jedi. But anyways, I am very pleased with this release. I think it's awesome, and I just love the fact that we're getting those carded figures with it. Now, just like Hasbro did with the Black Series, they also announced a new Ahsoka figure on Ahsoka series packaging. But again, it was a straight repack from the Mandalorian version of Ahsoka, so a little disappointing. If you participated in my poll on what was the most likely new figure to be revealed at SDCC, most of you did wisely choose Ahsoka, and so you were right. Although I was really asking for new figure reveals, and technically this was not a new figure, it's just a straight repack in the Ahsoka series packaging. But none of the others on the list were revealed as well. I thought the Ahsoka on the new series would have at least a slightly different look to her from The Mandalorian, but apparently not, or at least not for now, and so we're just stuck with a straight repack. Next up from the Ahsoka series, they also announced a new Sabinewren for TVC, and this one is going to come in a deluxe pack, and she looks very good. I like the sculpt, I like the cat it comes with. The face sculpt is looking pretty good. All the little accessories and paint apps on her armor look great. But unfortunately, they have misstepped again with a way too big helmet. Just like Axwo's, this one may be worse. This helmet looks ridiculous on her.
Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
Shh, you're gonna give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin. It's a virtual planetoid. Shh. Has its own weather system. Heed! Move!
But all jokes aside, this is a fantastic looking figure other than the helmet issue, so I just really hope they either correct the helmet issue as a running change or correct it for a possible future single carded regular release of Sabine. For a long time, this figure has been on my TVC wish list, and I was so excited when they announced Thrawn was finally coming to TVC, and they have not disappointed. It's on a Rebels card back, which is very interesting. It looks good. The figure looks great. He has a very similar style head sculpt to the Black Series version of Thrawn, which I'm perfectly fine with. They'll probably release another version of Thrawn that is on an Ahsoka card back, and they just have to swap the head out for the likeness to the actor in that series. But very happy to have Thrawn. He is one of my favorite villains of all time in Star Wars. Perhaps my favorite reveal for a single carded action figure in all of this year's SDCC reveals is Darthrevan for TVC. He has been at the top of my TVC wish list for years. I love Darthrevan. I love his story. I love the way he looks. He is a super cool villain, and I'm just over the moon with the way this guy turned out with the combination of cloth goods and soft plastic. It's an all new sculpt. It just looks excellent. I could not be happier with this figure. I think they did a great job. I cannot wait to get this guy in hand. Of course, I'm going to have a carded version and a loose version for this figure. This is an excellent addition to TVC. And yet another great reveal for the Vintage Collection was the TVC version of Pre-Vizsla. This one was another great pipeline from before, and we're finally getting a look at the figure itself. Very similar to the Black Series release, although the head sculpt is slightly different. It might be a little bit better actually, but the figure itself just looks so cool. I love these Clone Wars Mandalorians, and this guy's no exception. Pre-Vizsla was another one up there in my wish list. And now I think we just need one more Clone Wars era Mandalorian, and that is Gar Saxon. Now, it would not be a proper Hasbro panel without at least one figure that's just an oddball head scratcher out of the blue. And that one is Chewbacca Life Day from the Star Wars Holiday Special. You remember the holiday special, right?
Come on, faster all together now. Cooking can be fun. Stir, whip, stir, whip, 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 stir, whip, stir, whip, 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 stir. Wah!
Yeah, I'm still trying to forget that one, although I have to admit there are parts of that still to this day make me chuckle. And, you know, I don't have a problem with this at all. I think it's kind of funny they did this, and I kind of like it actually, and I probably will get this figure. I do appreciate that they did not give this one a VC number. That makes it easier for people to pass on this, since it is such a kind of an odd choice. It's not really part of canon. I don't know. I don't think the holiday special is considered canon. If any of you guys out there know if it is, let me know. But yeah, it was a strange choice, but I kind of dig it. All but two of the TVC Pipeline reveals were disappointing to me. Beginning with the Mandalorian Season 3 lineup, Axe Woves, the Fleet Commander, which is okay, another Mandalorian, which I don't know how he's going to be different, and another Grogu who's got a new pram. Whoop-de-doo. And then out of the blue, they went back to the sequel trilogy with a release of Finn, and it appears it is from Force Awakens. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about this being from Rise of Skywalker, but that image, I believe, is from a scene from Force Awakens. But just very surprised with that release, and I really hope it doesn't become a major peg warmer. They also revealed a reissue of the Rogue One version of Cassian Andor, and Patrick from Hasbro confirmed it is just a repack with an updated face. A Phase 1 Clone Trooper using that new Clone Trooper body we have. Very excited for that one, not surprised at all. And the best reveal from the pipelines for TVC, we are finally getting a Count Dooku. But we're finally getting the big bad from Attack of the Clones, and Hasbro has confirmed he is an all-new sculpted figure. So that is excellent news for TVC. And I just want to circle back to the Mandalorian Season 3 reveals. This was my wish list from a previous video I did for Season 3 figures. You can see there's just so many cool looking characters they could have made into figures, and instead they give us another Axe Woves who's not going to look any different, other than hopefully they will use that opportunity to fix his helmet for being too big. And another Mandalorian who, I don't know, may have some new accessories. But we're already getting yet another new Mandalorian that comes with the N1 Starfighter, and that's a carded figure for the Mandalorian. So this will be, you know, I don't know, a 5th or 6th one. I'm losing count, maybe 7th. And then Grogu, We've got enough Grogus. I don't care that his pram is different. This should be the last figure they make for season 3. Just so many missed opportunities, and I'm hoping they're not done with season 3. I'm sure there'll be more, but I'm just really hoping they go with some of the ones on my wish list. But again, other than the Phase 1 Clone Trooper and the Count Dooku, this was a pretty lame and underwhelming set of pipeline reveals for TVC. Alright, so I will wrap up my recap of the SDCC reveals with the most exciting news from the panel, and that is the new HasLab for the Vintage Collection. And it was the worst kept secret because it is the Ghost from Rebels and Ahsoka, and this thing is awesome, guys. I was very impressed. They said it does take on the look of the Ghost from the new Ahsoka series, and I actually prefer that. I think that's cool that it's going to reflect a live action show rather than the animation. Nothing against Rebels, I do like that show, but I just thought it was a good decision to go with a live action interpretation of the ship. And Hasbro went all out on this thing. I mean, look at all the parts that are removable, the detail. I love the fact that they're able to show us the finished look of this thing versus previous HasLabs when it was like unpainted. And look at the detail inside the cabin, the cockpit. Everything just looks so good. And there is a look at the Phantom 2. The Phantom 2 looks excellent. You know, it comes off, it's a separate ship, it's got chopper on it. And look at the size of this thing, 28 inches wide, 34.5 inches in length, and 13 inches high. This thing is massive. And to get a real appreciation of how big this thing is, check out this live stream video from John Miko with Chris from Hasbro standing next to it and handling it, and he's turning this ship, and you could just see how massive this product is. It is insane. Now the figures that will come with the Ghost begin with herasyndulla, and they've put the figures on these really cool Rebels card backs that use the famous mural from the show that is also the exact same mural that is going to be used in the Ahsoka series. And so they also revealed ezrabridger, who comes with this awesome scout trooper helmet that he customized on the show, kananjarrus, who comes with a swappable head, and a really good looking Zeb Aurelius. This looks like an awesome action figure. They did a great job on that sculpt. Now herasyndulla will come with the Ghost as a base offering if it meets its minimum requirement of 8,000 backers. But in order to get ezrabridger, we gotta reach 11,000 backers to get to tier number 1, and then 14,000 backers to get to tier number 2 to unlock kananjarrus, and then to unlock Zeb Aurelius and get to tier number 3, we need 17,000 backers. Now at the time I'm recording this audio, which is about 30 hours after the HasLab went live, the Ghost has already reached 6,517 backers. That is awesome. We just need 8,000 to secure this amazing ship for production, and from there it's just a matter of unlocking all the figures, which I really hope we do, and I think we will. But this is all about momentum, so if you are thinking about getting the Ghost, then go ahead and do it as soon as possible. There's no advantage to holding out. If anything, it hurts the cause if you hold out and try to back it later. Now it is $500, and $500 is a lot of money for most people, but I think it's worth it. I think you get value for your money here. This thing is massive. It's very well done, and I think $500 is spot on. So let's do this thing. Let's get the Ghost. All right, so I've gotten an interesting variety of pickups over the past 2 or 3 weeks I wanted to share with you guys, including that awesome new Black Series Scout Trooper helmet. So let's take a look. All right, so let's jump in here with the Black Series Scout Trooper helmet. Now this is not gonna be a full-on review. If you wanna see a good review, go check out my man Paul at Paul's Collectibles. He is a helmet collector. He does excellent reviews on helmets. Highly recommend him. So go check out that video. I just want to show you guys this though. It is stunning. This helmet is stunning for the money. I picked this up at my local GameStop. It was $130. Here's a look at the inside. You got a little cushion there at the top. And there is the faceplate. I just love how this thing folds up like this. It does it very well. It's very sturdy, and you know, it's just that clean white look. I love it. The Scout Trooper helmet is one of my favorite trooper designs in all of Star Wars, so I knew I was going to get this the moment Hasbro revealed it, and it just turned out so well. I just didn't expect it to look quite this good for $130. And if you are a fan of Return of the Jedi or the Scout Troopers / Biker Scouts and just thinking about getting a helmet, this is the helmet you need to get. You will not be disappointed. It's just awesome. I love this thing. Next up, I finally got my Tusken Warrior for TVC in the post. I ordered this one from Big Bad Toy Store. I thought I'd ordered 2, but apparently I only ordered 1, so now I gotta get one loose. But this thing looks fantastic. I love the card back. The figure looks great. It's VC 279. I'm really happy how this figure turned out and can't wait to put her up against the Tusken Boba Fett once I get him in. Next is an interesting figure I've been wanting for my collection for a while now. This is the Silver Anniversary Darth Vader. This was an exclusive for the 2002 New York Toy Fair. And he's got this awesome red lightsaber that sticks up through the bubble. There's a little hole in the bubble and it comes through. That is so great. And he's got kind of a purplish hue. Now these mostly were like chromed out figures. You may have seen my Boba Fett, my R2-D2 I have that were from other exclusives, but this one had a purple hue, and you know, it just looks awesome. He's got like a soft plastic cape as well. It's a very cool figure. It's definitely the best of these series of figures for the Silver Anniversary that Hasbro put out. Next up, I got this Walmart exclusive Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid 2-pack with General Grievous and CB3D. And the real reason I wanted this is because check this out. There's a CB3D, he's a very cool droid, but look at this. It's the head and the gun for the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. This is the only way you can build the Phase 3 Dark Trooper is by collecting this series. There's 5 total. This is one of 5, and I love the astromech with that. And so it was a no-brainer to get started because I am definitely wanting to build that Dark Trooper, and this is set 3 of 5, and this has the holiday special Boba Fett, which is a repack from the 30th anniversary. And then you got this interesting protocol droid, and his designation is BL-17, and supposedly he is a Mandalorian protocol droid, which is pretty interesting. And this pack comes with, I guess, a backpack or maybe a jetpack for the Dark Trooper. I can't really tell exactly what this thing does, but again, another part to build my Phase 3 Dark Trooper. Looking forward to it. I will be opening these to eventually build that Dark Trooper. Alright, as soon as they announced that new Jabba the Hutt set, I started thinking I'm gonna need to get a Salacious Crumb because I'm probably gonna keep him carded, and I'd like to get an Oola for the set. And I started freaking out thinking, okay, prices on Oolas are gonna shoot through the roof now this Jabba set's coming out. So I bought this Power of the Force 2 Oola. I think I got her for like $24 or something. Pretty good deal. And she looks really good. It's just she is a 5 POA figure. But the Salacious looks like he is not articulated at all. So he is not going to be able to sit on Jabba. So I'm going to have to keep looking for a good Salacious. Or else I may just have to consider opening him off the card. But probably not, knowing me. I'm just a carded collector first and foremost, so if he's coming on a special mini card, I'm probably not going to open him. And while I was at it, I went ahead and picked up this C-3PO and Salacious Crumb from the Jabba the Hutt scene, and I've always wanted this anyways. I had this a long time ago when I used to have almost the entire 30th anniversary, and sadly I sold about 75-80% of my collection when I started getting to TVC. And so I just ended up buying this thing right back, and you know, it's beat up, but I'm planning on opening this to go with the set, and you know, hopefully this Salacious is up to par for posing with Jabba. If not, I'll just keep looking some more. Alright, so I also got an order in from Tokuori of loose TVC figures, and I want to share a couple of them with you, starting with the Slave Leia. Now, she is marketed on Tokuori.com as the actual Sandstorm TVC Leia, which is the same as Slave Leia, but she has that cloak, but Tokuori does not have the cloak. So she comes with the Sandstorm goggles, but she does not have the chalice that comes with the regular Slave Leia. So it's interesting, but let's take a look at her. This is the first time I've had her loose, and I've actually only just had her carded just in the last few months. But it's a pretty good looking figure. The head sculpt is not great, but she's articulated, and I like the cloth goods, and so it's a pretty decent figure. Yes, we could use an update. No, we will not get an update because of, you know, the way things are these days. And so I'm gonna put her goggles on just because it's interesting. I think she kind of looks cool. Let's put that staff thing in her hand. And yeah, she's looking pretty cool. Obviously, I won't keep the goggles on when Jabba gets here, but it was just perfect timing to get this order in just before the Jabba set went on pre-order. And so I will have her waiting for Jabba when he arrives. And so the other figure I wanted to share from my Tokuori order is darthplagueis. I've always wanted this figure, never ordered him for whatever reason. And he is part of the 3.75 Black Series. And look at that head sculpt. It's just a great head sculpt, and I'm really digging this figure, and I love the paint job on this figure. Look at that. It looks fantastic, and this is just the bare figure without the accessories. I'll show you the accessories in just a moment. I just want to take a look at him like this first. But he also comes with a number of accessories, including this staff right here. Of course, a lightsaber. He comes with this, I guess, vest piece that goes over his shoulders, looking pretty cool. Yep, I'm going to try to put that on in a second. And then here is his cloak, looking really good. And it also comes with this little breathing apparatus. So ton of accessories for Plagueis. This is pretty awesome. So I'm going to pause the camera and put all this stuff on him. All right, here is Plagueis with all his accessories on, looking really good. You can see I've got that vest on, I've got his cloak. I gotta fix his little breathing apparatus there. Okay, that seems to be okay. Everything seems to be in order. And there's his staff and lightsaber. And yeah, I'm really digging this figure. Of course, this guy is supposed to be the old master of Palpatine. So he's got a very interesting backstory, and rumors that he will show up in the new Acolyte series. So I'm really hoping that happens now that I have this figure already acquired. And just a quick update, if you watched my last video, I ordered a 000 from Tokuori, and he showed up without a faceplate. So just as a joke, I temporarily put on a faceplate from a C-3PO, which uses the same mold. I thought it was kind of funny looking. But Tokuori promised me they would send me a replacement faceplate for 000 on my next order. Well, I got my next order in with the Slave Leia and Plagueis and a few others, and there was no faceplate. And I reminded them the moment I placed that next order. I sent 2 emails, one through their main regular email address and one through their website, reminding them to please include my missing faceplate, and they still didn't do it. And so just a fair warning about tokuori.com, they have some great deals on hard to find figures and discontinued figures loose. And so it can be a fun experience ordering from them, but just lower your expectations on the customer service side. If something goes wrong, I would not expect that they take care of it. That's just the way it goes. So just keep that in mind if you order from tokuori.com. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of Brett on Fett. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the reveals from San Diego Comic-Con and whether or not you're going to back the Ghost HasLab. Thanks for checking out this video. Thank you so much to my subscribers. Don't forget you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.